Well, as you may remember, at the end of Chapter 1 of the Stonnell Story, we were living at our home on Wilda Lane. But in 1976, we bought 10 acres of land in beautiful Kelly Canyon and built our mountain dwelling, Stonnell Acres. This would be home for us for the next 18 years. The first documented event occurred on our east deck, where David interviewed Mom and Dad Stonnell, who came to visit and see our new home.
Hello. Today's the news. We have the senior Stonnells, Meemaw and Peepaw, as they're commonly known within the Stonnell family. We're discussing the family tree, as it would be called in the proper language. Today is the 6th of September. It's a Tuesday of 1977, and they're here 2 days before they leave, I think. And we must, let's talk a little bit about our family tree.
I remember when I was a little tot, mother's mother was a pretty one, and her mother was a Paget. And that was my great-grandmother, and they both lived with us at 116 South Alfred Street. Great-grandmother Paget died when I was just a small child, I remember that. And then later, grandmother Prettyman died. Oh, let me see. Then Pop and Nanny, when they first married, they lived down on a farm not too far from Dad's old farm, place where he was raised, where they did their farming. I know more about our coming together in early life together than I do about my mother and
Well, let's
father.
talk about that.
Yes.
And
maybe Mom can join in and say how you met each other.
well, that's quite a story. In the Methodist Church, the pastors moved every 4 years unless by some chance the congregation wanted the pastor to remain for additional length of time, like 8 years or something like that. And also the presiding elders of a conference district. I think we were in the Baltimore district in the Methodist Church. Baltimore Conference of the Methodist Church. Of course, when I was young, about that early stages of life, after I'd finished my Sunday school days, I became a Sunday school teacher, and I had my own class, the ones that were not married, the eligible daughters. It was Mary and Catherine and Addie. After church service, or I guess it was after Epworth Lake service, somebody introduced me to her mom, and she's been my buddy ever since.
Well, Mom, how about you reflecting on those times?
Well, I think he told it very accurately, as I recall. The funny part of it is he used to stand on the corner. There was a drugstore that we had to pass as we went from church and went home. Of course, we walked in those days, but we lived very close to the church. And he and some of his buddies used to stand there and watch us wait for us to walk by. You know what they say? Oh, look
Standing on the corner, watching all the girls go by.
Tell us what your early years of marriage were like. Very early.
Well,
Where were you working and
Yeah.
what
well,
was going on, man?
when Mother and I became engaged, we became engaged a good many years when I was still in Camden, New Jersey. And then I was working for the New Jersey Waterworks. And I went down to Baltimore. We were married in Baltimore.
My dad.
Yeah.
Yes.
And went down to Virginia on our honeymoon down to North Carolina and back. Ended up in Haddon Heights, New Jersey, a little apartment house, an apartment in an apartment house. And I had the place open. We had a mother came up before we were married and we picked out our furniture and I had that moved in. What few pieces of furniture we have. You.
Mary, my sister, came up.
Oh, yeah.
You said mother, didn't you?
You, meaning you,
Oh,
Mom. But Mary
I
was
thought
there.
you meant Mary, Ma.
No, Mary Wood did come up and visit us, though, but I don't
Uh-huh.
think she came up to pick out the furniture.
Well, she did go with us when we picked out.
I guess you're right.
furniture.
I don't know. It's a long time ago. It was almost 48 years ago, and you can't remember everything in 48 years. So then we lived in this apartment. We were married in September of 1929.
Mhm.
Great, Jackie, that's great.
What's the matter? What are you laughing at?
Mushroom. I'm surprised you didn't see that. I didn't see that.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I didn't know he was there either. I couldn't figure out why you were telling her to do that.
But Aunt Jackie, it is. Do you have the sound going? Oh,
Yeah.
mercy.
Oh, we
So
gee, we
I'm
didn't
laughing
have
at-
our hair combed or
I
anything.
know. That's
I
what he
was
likes
gonna
to
put
get.
special makeup on. Wait, is this a big zoom? A big zoom in?
We're stuffing mushrooms. You ought to wait for the big finale.
What do you mean you're stuffing mushrooms? What are you putting in them?
Well, we're gonna stuff them.
Putting
We're gonna
garbage
put
in.
them on the wall, hang them up. Haven't you ever seen, like in the movie last
Deer?
night? There'll be, yeah, like the stuffed mushrooms hanging.
Is that
from the
supposed to chase away the vampires?
ceiling. Yes.
So somebody's mouthing that.
Oh my goodness. That'd scare the daylights out.
Where do I sit tonight now?
Right down here, sir.
Oh.
Your place of honor. Dad, since this is our anniversary, I thought maybe we could ask you to return thanks tonight for us.
Dear Father, we thank Thee for this day. We thank Thee for Thy many blessings upon us. Bless and keep this household and all therein. Thank Thee for this food in His name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Well,
Jackie, the mushrooms.
Excuse me.
So
Are those the stuffed mushrooms?
Yeah, they are.
aren't they gorgeous?
I think a little crab or a little seafood
I
in it would be wonderful.
Just
Oh,
pass
yeah.
this around.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
they'll
Well,
be
sir.
good.
Oh, you don't want to have some there? Why don't you go ahead and serve yourself while it's down here?
Why don't we pass everything in this direction?
Okay.
That'd be a good idea.
Jackie,
I
you
would
want
grab that
smell?
Pardon?
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Here, here's a good shot of chewing.
Well, how'd you like it, Dad?
What? Like what?
Dinner.
Oh, delicious. I ate it all up.
Nothing left.
Right.
What?
There's the leaf.
What'd you eat up?
Dinner.
A little more tea here. Slurp it,
Hi there, David. Are you in business?
I'm in business. I'm working.
Oh, you are?
That tea looks good.
Yummy,
Slurp
it is good.
Slurp it.
Slurp it.
Well, we're going to pretend it's morning in Japan, but right now we're going to talk with our guest today for the Stonnell commentary, issues and answers, where we have with us today Mr. John Milton Stonnell and his wife, who will be adding to the comments of today, Mrs. Addie Stonnell. Is that correct?
Correct.
Maybe we should start this program off with a question directed toward either one of you concerning some of the past years. Now, as we sit here today, we're sitting in up in this house up in Montana, but
No, you just said a minute ago we're in Japan.
well, okay, we're in Montana now.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad I got back.
Now that we're in Montana, let's move back down. Let's say to New York, and let's find out what life was like in New York when both of you were teaching Dad to be a young man.
Behave.
Yes. Would either of you like to comment on how?
New York? Who says sure?
You say sure.
Oh, I'm so.
You did say sure.
Well, I did say sure. Sure enough. And I want to tell you one thing. If you want to know about New York, it's a good thing to get off the subway. And it's hell to get on.
Well, were the winters ever this bad? Were they really bad when you were around? When you were
Oh,
living?
yes. We had lots of snow up there.
The only thing is that it didn't have any mud to go through.
Oh, no mud.
No.
Well,
We had to shovel our driveway and sidewalk, and do just about what you do here.
I walked to work one morning in the middle of the street. Now, that's how bad it was. Couldn't get the car out of the garage.
And Jack used to run to school in the middle of the street with old pal tagging along.
Well, what?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm ready. I'm still in New York.
That kind of it threw me a curve. Let me just ask you this now that put you on the spot. How unruly was Dad? Was he really as bad as you've always told? You know, running around, doing bad things. Or was he a sweet, nice angel?
Oh,
He was in between, wasn't he?
Well, that depends on where he was running. If he was running to school, he was in a hurry. If he was running home, he was also in a hurry.
Oh,
Mom, do you know anything about that?
Yes, I can tell you.
How you
I
got started filming?
Right. I was working in New York, and I passed by a place that sold cameras. I remember we bought a projector. That was it, a projector, the first we bought. And every weekend in New York, I would stop on Saturdays, stop by the store down there, and rent a film, 16 millimeter silent film, and come home with it. And Jack would fix a screen up in the cellar, down in the cellar, invite his friends in the neighborhood, and we'd have a movie show. But they were the old-fashioned movies. You laugh your sides looking at them. That was old Charlie Chaplin and Fatty Arbuckle.
Laurel and Hardy, weren't
Oh
they?
yeah, but they were all solid. But that didn't make any difference. We laughed just the same.
Sure.
But what about the time he first started filming? That's the story I like.
So I know, but you see, leading up to that, after we were showing these movies, then we had an opportunity to buy a movie camera, 16 millimeter movie camera. I think it's still here. I think you have it.
Yeah.
That's an old, I think that was bought back at about 1939, I believe. And Jack, of course, he had to find out how to operate the thing, and he operated right much. We went down to Baltimore one trip. Coming back, all the film was gone. And when we developed it, he had taken it out of the back of the car, riding along the road. That's how he learned how to use a camera.
Well, could you tell me something about your early years together when you first met? Like, how did you actually meet each other?
Well, that's a long story. You haven't got that much time. But you see, I was a young one in the church, Methodist church. And we'd meet outside the church every morning, every Sunday morning, us boys, and talk about what was going on around town, what was going on in the church. And it was announced that we were every 4 years in those days, they would change the ministers. The Methodist minister would change it, send him somewhere else. We heard we were getting a new minister and also a presiding elder, and both of them had daughters, just young daughters. And boy, us boys at the drugstore corner, we got all excited about that. We got to wait and see what the new parsonage is going to look like, and what the presiding elder's house is going to look like with new female faces. So, sure enough, they came. Well, the minister, he had a daughter. I forget what her name was, but she wasn't anything to brag about.
He had 2 daughters.
Oh, I guess he did. And then the presiding elder, Mr. Lambert, came, and Mrs. Lambert, and they had 3 daughters to come walking down to church with. And the first Sunday they were in town, they went to church, and us cowboys on the drugstore corner, well, there was Mom and Kits and Mary, the other 2 sisters. Gee whiz, I got to meet that little blonde.
What was your...
So when I went to, sure enough, I went to Epworth League that night. Sure she'd be there. She was there, and I met her. That was it.
Well,
We struck up a friendship. But one funny thing I remember, Halloween, we would walk through Main Street to see the people dressed up in costumes. And the 3 of us were walking down Main Street, and all this funny looking creature kept bothering us so, coming along behind us and making fun and trying to trip us, and we just got so disgusted at whoever this was. We were really thoroughly mad, and it turned out to be Dad. Teasing us, following us all along Main Street.
Well, that was a great thing on Halloween. Everybody went out and prayed up and down King Street. That's all they did all night long. Prayed up and down. Of course, they'd go around and throw some bricks in somebody's window once in a while. Do some,
that was bad.
throw a sack of sand up on the roof.
Well, what did you think when you first met him? Were you impressed? Was
Oh
he a
yes,
pest? What'd you
oh
think?
yes, very much impressed.
No,
We
she
had-
was in love with somebody else and had to break his wagon down.
That sounds like a good story too.
Yeah, doesn't it? Well, no, he had personality plus, and he had perseverance too.
Well, the first thing I had to do was to go out and try to fix the doorbell. The doorbell didn't work. And
Yeah, that's right. That's when you got your first kiss. Wasn't
yeah,
it?
that's right. And the neighbors across the street saw it.
I haven't heard this one.
Yeah, the doorbell was out of order. I had to go out and fix the doorbell. It was dark, but people across the street could see.
Yeah, it was just a little entranceway there.
Oh well.
that was all
anyhow,
right.
we got the doorbell.
Fixed.
She wanted the doorbell fixed, so when I came out and ring it, she'd know
who it was.
Who it was. Oh.
When you were expecting Jack, what kind of baby were you hoping for, boy or girl?
Oh, we wanted a boy. I did. I don't know what Mom wanted.
What'd
It
you
didn't.
want, Mom?
It didn't really matter to me. I just wanted a good baby, healthy.
Too bad.
Too
you
bad you
didn't
got
get
one.
Wait a minute now, this is getting a little rough.
How did you choose his name?
Well,
She did.
Junior. We decided if it was a
I didn't want to
Boy.
have him give him my name, but Mom says, no, it's got to be, had to be a junior.
Well, it's certainly
Yeah.
better than the next door neighbor's name.
it certainly is.
And why did you decide to call him Jack instead of Milton?
Because his dad was, oh, you mean instead of Milton? Because his name was Milton, and everybody called him Milton, and to have two of them.
Nobody ever knew my first name was John. It was always J. Milton.
Excuse me.
Everything that was Milton all the way through my life. And her sister used to call me Mickey. That was a nickname I had.
And you see, his dad's name was John, and that wouldn't have worked very well with two Johns. So,
What did
We
Jack
called
look
him.
like when he was born?
Oh my goodness, that's terrible.
oh no, he was a big, just fine looking baby.
Handsome.
What did he weigh?
An awful lot.
8.5.
And he still
Yeah.
does. Still growing.
He
8.5
was big.
pounds?
I believe it was more than that, wasn't it?
Good grief.
No, I don't
8.
think so.
I think it was 8, 9 or something like that. 8.
Was he a blonde? Did he, or was he bald?
He didn't have much hair. Wasn't like Ginger. She came with a full head of black hair and lost it all.
How much did she weigh?
Oh, she was bigger than Jack. She was 8 pounds and 11 ounces, I think, something like that.
That little thing, weren't you?
Yep.
What
Good
was her
question.
waist size?
Oh.
Ginger, have you got a question for her?
Oh, after that one, no. I don't ever want to ask him another question again.
What were Ginger's behaviors?
Well, why don't you
Good.
ask me about the early years in New Rochelle?
Well, let's see.
What was her
Well, Ginger doesn't know anything about New Rochelle.
First lived in an apartment.
Yes.
But we soon outgrew that with Jack. And so we found a little house to rent. Remember?
Up on
Was that
Farquhar.
Farquhar
Farquhar
Avenue, I remember
Avenue.
that.
Yeah, Farquhar Avenue. That's when we had Saxy.
Yeah.
The steak home. The dog would bring the meat home.
Yeah.
From where?
Well,
And the neighbors, and bring the neighbors' underwear home off some line.
I bet he'd bring the neighbors in.
well, in those days, meat markets or stores would deliver to the people. They'd call up and put it in an order, and their food would be delivered. And oftentimes, maybe the people weren't home when the delivery was made, and they'd leave it outside the door. And this dog we had, he used to come home with the most beautiful steaks you ever did see. And we never could find out where he got them.
Oh, my.
He was some doggy, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Jack.
I remember Soxy.
And we lived on not a steep hill, but a good enough slant hill to sleigh ride. And we'd have snows there, and Jack would get out on a sled and go down, we called it belly whopping, I don't know what they call it now. And old Soxy would jump the fence and land right on Jack's back and down the hill and go.
If Jack
It's
was on
quite
his
a
belly
sight.
now, his arms and legs wouldn't touch him.
Well, isn't that the same dog that when you locked it up in the downstairs and it got the meat or something?
That's right. It was during. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
that
it.
was the one. Yes, that was what we brought him home as a puppy, right from the dog pound.
And
And we had a ham.
yeah, my dad had sent us a Virginia cured ham, which was precious in those days because everything was rationed or meat. and we
During
hung
the
it.
Depression, you mean the early 30s?
I
Oh,
guess
sure,
guess
yes.
it was.
Yes.
And we had it hanging from the ceiling in the cellar, the ham, and was way up high. But the dog could jump. Oh, he could jump, and we didn't know that. And we put him in the cellar the first night, and we thought he would just bark and bark all night, but we never heard a sound out of him. Not a sound. He was so quiet. And next morning when we went down, we discovered that he had spent all night jumping up to this ham and just having a feast off of it. He had eaten, I guess almost all of it, hadn't he?
Oh, no, he just eating the big,
end.
yeah.
Left you the bone.
Well, what was it like in the early years of the Depression? You know, just when I was a little baby, how'd you get enough food to feed me if everything was rationed? And, what were some of the other problems then? You know, there were a lot of people out of work. How did you manage to, maintain employment?
You'll
without
have
real
to tell that.
problems?
You
Or
were
did have
just,
some
we were
problems?
just
Well,
one of the lucky ones.
You see, I was the chief accountant there of the New Rochelle Water Company, and that New Rochelle Water Company was the head bookkeeping headquarters for the Greenwich,
Greenwich, Connecticut.
Water Company, and the Bristol, Rhode Island Water Company, and Portchester Water Company. We had a group of companies there, and I traveled around to those different companies. Now, at one time, they did want a New York office sent word around that they want all the salaries decreased. But the district manager there, Putnam, lived up in Greenwich, Connecticut. He put his foot down on it. He says, "No, sir. We're not going to reduce salaries." And we didn't let anybody off, because if you couldn't let anybody off, we didn't have too many working anyhow. Because you still had to serve, water had to be, people had to drink water. So,
And take baths.
and make moonshine.
Well, did you have a telephone in those days?
Oh, yes.
Sure.
Well, Mom, what about from the mother and housewife point of view? Did you have problems buying food, or what? Was a lot of it rationed, or what? What was it like?
I think it was. My main impression was the course that I took, course in nutrition, that was certainly a great help. It told us how to eat, what things to eat to get the proper nutrition. Like beans you could substitute for meat, and various things like that. I enjoyed that very much, got a lot out of it, and it was a great help. But it was difficult to get, you couldn't buy the things that you'd been used to. It was difficult to find everything you wanted. But they were interested in the bank failure, Dad. Why don't you tell them?
And what did you feed your baby, too? That's what he was asking.
Oh, well, Jack was a Lulu to feed.
And he still is.
They didn't have baby powders then that you could buy off of the drugstore shelf. And he tried every one on Jack, and Jack couldn't hold any of them down. And it got so terrible, but of course he didn't lose any weight. I don't know why.
Never have.
But it finally ended up we had to put him on goat's milk. And we had to go all
That's
the
why
way.
to this day you hear Jack go back.
We had to go all the way downtown in New York to buy goat's milk by the crate, so we'd have plenty of it.
It was canned?
Yes.
Canned,
Oh, yes.
Oh, I just saw you having a goat out in the back.
Well, we thought we'd get one, but I couldn't milk a goat. But you could buy it in Gordon's milk place. Nationwide, they had it.
He was fine after we got him on goat's milk. He slept instead of crying, and he held the milk down and thrived on it.
Well, back in
And
those
grew.
days, we used to have an Iceman when you came.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't have an electric refrigerator.
Of course not.
But they were available, weren't they? I mean, was the Depression in the early years of the Depression on you two, was it such that you couldn't really afford some
No,
of the
you
newer
just
appliances?
most of the people just had refrigerators that we had to keep ice in them, ice boxes we called.
Yeah,
that right?
it wasn't until a few years after that that
But the electric
electric
refrigerators
became popular. I mean, became plentiful. At that time, you only had one that you could. I don't remember. Everybody had was a GE with those coils around the top there, circle around the top.
Compressor.
Yeah, that's what that was. That, of course, when the banks closed, that was a rough time for us at the office.
Yeah, that's what I
And,
think they'd be interested in.
We had some money in a savings account in one bank, and that was closed. We had another bank where we had a checking account.
And of course, banks weren't insured then against
No.
losses. If you had money in the bank and it failed, why, you just wiped out your money.
But I remember the night before it must have been around New Year's Eve, I think, because the banks closed, I believe, on the first of the month. Anyhow, that Saturday night the banks were open. I went down and deposited.
Somehow or other you heard, did you, that
No, I
They
didn't
were
know
gonna
at that
fail?
time. That was till after the banks closed. That I deposited my paycheck in the bank and cashed a check at the same time. When the banks closed, that meant that the money I had deposited there, the bank had it, and they couldn't do anything with it because it was, in other words, the paycheck was drawn on a bank in Connecticut, deposited in the bank in New Rochelle, New York. And when they closed the banks, that meant that the bank in New Rochelle had my payroll check, but they couldn't collect for it, but they'd give me money for about $100 or something like that. But they went,
well, we would have starved.
We understand that
If we
they're still
hadn't
looking
had
for you
done it.
now.
it wouldn't be
And
a
the interest
surprise.
is really compounded on that.
But then we had up in Connecticut there, we were able to, Putnam called me and said, well, now, the banks are closed, but if you got any money you need, we can take care of it for the bank. The bank up here, they're going to close too. So it was a rough time there for about a week. We had to, let me see, when the banks did open, we had to pay by cash, go down to the bank and get, in other words, make up our payroll and pay our employees in cash instead of by check. I remember I used to have to go to the bank and get the money, and it was a job making up a payroll in those days. You had all these people to pay, and you had to know how many tens and how many fives and how many ones and how many quarters and how many half dollars and how many pennies to make up all these payroll envelopes. Oh, that was a job.
Well, didn't I have a trust fund at one time in one of those banks, New Rochelle? Wasn't there some money that was deposited as a trust for me that got wiped out in the Huguenot Trust Company or something?
Yeah.
What was the story on that?
Well, we had our savings account there too.
Well, who started the trust fund?
I don't know.
Was that Zoe or, do you remember, Mother?
I can't remember. I'm just trying to
Maybe I was
think.
thinking of dreaming of that.
I know that Zoe talked about it and wanted to start a trust fund for you.
Who's Zoe?
She was a friend of ours.
That married a millionaire.
Yeah, she
Could we
married.
go check the Huguenot
married.
bank? Just to see if it came out okay.
Yeah, she married. He was English. He was one.
He wasn't English. He was from Philadelphia. He was one
Well,
of the wardens.
I'm mixed up. Yeah, his name was Warden, but his background, his folks was one of the Rockefellers that made so much money, you know. That's where actually his money came from. But he was a tightwad. He was awfully good to us and everything, but Zoe worked on him, so she wanted him to give Jack start a trust fund for Jack. And he wanted to himself, but he said, because he liked us very much, he used to come out, when they'd come to New York, they used to come out and spend the weekend with us to get away from all the grafters, as he said, showgirls and all that would just pamper him and pester him for money and everything. But he said that it was in the family policy that they could not go outside the family, give any money outside of the family. You've heard that rich people keep their wealth, and
Sure.
that's how they do it. Legally, they're bound to just keep it in the family. So I think that's what you had reference to, Jack, when you mentioned.
That's how you got me
Trust
to marry him. He told me that.
Really missed
Secret
that.
slush fund.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all. We're gonna give you
I
a
don't know
break.
whether
Good.
it was very interesting.
It was.
Or much of a
Farewell words you
background.
wanna share with us?
Yeah. We'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Oh, and I'll come sit over here by you a little bit. And here we are.
Yep, the twins.
Want to talk to your relatives and tell them anything about yourself?
Well, I'm still in school, and I'm still pursuing the illustrious, or elusive rather, degree, and I should be getting that real soon. Sure wish I could be down there with you and not on a tape talking to you guys instead.
You'll be glad he's on a tape. He's much neater on a tape.
In a morning like it is today, I don't have a chance to get up and, fix the face and comb the hair properly. So, but normally I look more radiant than I do right now.
What are your plans for mid-quarter? Not mid-quarter, for the spring break.
For spring break, I plan to be going to Seattle and visiting some friends out there, dropping down to Portland, Oregon, and visiting the school I applied to. And along the way, I hope to see St. Helens volcano and go up to Canada, the Victoria area.
All in a day and a half.
All in a day and a half, yep. And I'll be taking a couple friends with me.
Who are the friends who are going?
Priscilla Hamilton, who I don't know, and but I know through acquaintances, and then Sandy Gallick, who we graduated from high school together, and we want to visit some friends who are out in Seattle. And I have a long list of people I have to visit when I'm out at Seattle, and hopefully we'll make it through that list, including the Bond. I have to see the Bond, visit the my headquarters for employment, and
You're going to try and visit with Carl, or at least call him.
visit with Carl and the Siobhan, who's leaving last night, and I hope to see some other friends who are now working at the Bond out there. A lot of Bond friends.
And then he may stop in and see his grandparents, but we're not sure about that one yet.
We're working on that one, and maybe go out to the coast. And while I'm out on the coast, I might drop down to California or to the Mexico border.
Not, he could cover that just as easily as the other part that he's planning to do.
Yeah, that's if my Subaru holds out. I've got the Subaru in good working order ever since I hit the deer, and got the dents out of it now, and it looks somewhat ready for a road trip.
Want to say anything to Greg or to Leanne so they can remember who you are?
Oh, I'm sure they remember me. I was the pesky one when I came. Right. I was down there for a full year attending LSU and drove them up the wall.
Oh, I don't think you did. We're looking outside right now, and there are magpies that are swooping by. We haven't seen birds yet this year. In fact, these are about the first birds I've seen this winter. And it is so warm. What is it, Jack? Probably about 40 outside?
Yeah, probably.
And we have the doors all open. I know you will think that you close your doors when it gets to be 40, but it is absolutely balmy for us.
This is the type of weather you go out in shorts and suntan,
That's
which I
right.
did yesterday for a little bit.
I stood out in the sun for half an hour on Friday, and it was about 40 degrees. And I have red right in here and on my face. Of course, it's because we are a mile closer to the sun than you are, and we're going to
Yep,
church.
just zoom
and
in
so-
on the feet there.
And then we're going to drive over to Livingston.
Put your feet up and wiggle your toes. There you go.
8
Yep.
feet. We're
I
gonna,
normally wear Argyle socks on these beautiful feet.
we're going to drive over to Livingston. Some people had some things that they brought into the store for sale the other day. And I think that she probably has some more things, or she said she did. And so we're going to drive over there and see what we can get this afternoon. And those are the kinds of things that are the bread and butter in the store, little things that people will pick up without any financial strain.
Are you going to be home for dinner?
I will be home at that time, but does not mean that there will be dinner.
Because
Why?
I don't
What
know
do
if
you-
I'm going to be home for dinner, but I'm wondering if I should call you. We'll
Yeah.
work it out later on.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm going to come home right after work. So
Where do you think you might want to go?
the library.
Likely
weeks.
story, Greg. Likely story.
2 weeks before finals, and I've got to start learning the things that I've been sloughing off on.
Well, I came over here so that you could see the fireplace. I thought you might be interested in this. Bobby Ann, if you're watching this one, all of this rock came from the place where we went with Don and the kids to look for garnets behind the Ruby Dam, the other side of Virginia City. And the man who made it is really an artist. It has a lot of stone, and of course each piece has to be fitted. We have a real large mantel, and this mantelpiece is not decorated like it normally is. I had been asked a couple of weeks ago to talk to the Newcomers Club about candles and decorating, and I did that and took a lot of my candle holders and the fat candles with me, and I just haven't gotten around to putting them back up there. We do enjoy the fireplace. Have used it probably less this year than we normally do, because it seems like each year is super busy, but this has really been a very busy year for us. Excuse me. We have a huge wood box back here that holds an awful lot of wood. This little plant is absolutely going crazy. Look at it. The tendrils are going everywhere. I need to trim it back a little bit. I do want you to look at one wall that we have. We have a lot of pictures on them. Most of the pictures are paintings done by Jack, and we'll show you that next. The other room that we're going to show you, and it will be the last, will be some of the old phonographs.
Well, hi, everybody. Here I am. I've taken a moment to step from behind the camera, where I've been all along up till now, to get in front of the camera. Jackie's giving me a tough time from behind the camera somewhere there. Anyway, I thought I'd step in front of the camera here for a few minutes to greet all of you down there from sunny, warm Bozeman. It's probably warmer up here right now than it is down there. I hope it's still that way. Anyway, it's my pleasant task to show you the family room, or what used to be the family room. It's actually the Hall of Old Phonographs now, as you can see. There are quite a few machines in here, and you can't see them all in the shot we have lined up, that Dave's got lined up. Dave's behind the camera there, doing a good job, I hope.
I hope to.
Yeah, right. And anyway, I thought we'd take a few minutes here to play some of these old phonographs, let you see them up close and in operation, and maybe hear some of the old music. So let's do that. We'll just crank up a few of them here for you.
Send the word over there, that the Yanks are coming, the drums rum-tumming everywhere, so prepare.
One of the major events for us in the early 1980s was our venture into retailing. We opened the Nostalgia Merchant, featuring gifts, antiques, and furniture. Suzanne often managed the store, and she'll take us on a little tour.
Behind here we have all our glassware. We try to divide it into color, but it's not very color coordinated right now. And most of it's old. We have a few new pieces. And this is our counter with all our little
Stuff.
impulse types of things that for kids and a lot of adults like it. And over here is our jewelry counter. Right now we're kind of low on it, but we have old jewelry down here and up here. And in the middle we kind of keep our new jewelry, which again we're low on. In this case we have just little things that are of interest. Some are new things and some are old. And people seem to like to look through little things like this. And then over here we've got our little dancing bears, or well, this one isn't dancing, he's washing the baby. These are made in Russia. And then we have the little piano guy. These are really popular at Christmas. And this is one of our most popular items up here, the wig weavings. Nono has one already, so she knows what we're talking about. But they sell really well. And in here is our little bedroom area. Right now we don't have a bed in it. We've sold all the beds that we've had. But one of the most popular items in here that catches a lot of attention is this armoire. It's a Habersham piece. And it's very nice. Very heavy too. We have a few vintage clothes in it. Our other real popular item in the store are the old phonographs. They're very popular with young people, and then old people come in and have memories about them. And we're also selling the RCA dog Nipper now, and he's been very popular. We've sold all different sizes, and he just gets a lot of comments. This is an old commode that Mom and Dad picked up at an auction a few weeks ago. It's oak and walnut with a marble top. And then to the left of it is a new piece. It's a chest by Habersham Plantation. And you can see that we've mixed old and new things in the shop to show that you can mix them. And you can mix different woods together and they blend real nice. And we have lots of accessories on top. This is an old pitcher and bowl, and then the old mirror, and we have a new little pitcher here, and as you can see they go well together. This is a Habersham piece also, the drop leaf desk, or what's it, a slant top desk. I should say shaker desk. And this top part comes off of it. And coming through here we have our, what we call our children's bed. Again, we don't have any beds in this room. They seem to be very popular. But we do have put lots of our toys in here, like our dolls, and we're having a sale on dolls right now. And they seem to go very well. And we have the little bookcase with, or I should say shelves with little things. We put our bobbins in here, which are from the old textile mills, and they sell real well. A lot of people use them for candle holders. And we also do quite a bit with paper dolls, and we've got about 6 different types. Most of them are reproductions. We do have one that is an original old one, but a lot of older ladies are collecting them, which was kind of surprising. And then younger kids like them now too. In our kitchen area we have lots of interesting things, such as our fireplace, which kids really get a kick out of. They don't understand how it works. And we're also selling chocolate molds, which we have on the mantle right now. We can do a lot with displays on top of the mantle there. The chocolate molds are made in Holland, and they've been fairly popular. They're made from antique molds. As you can see on the wall, we've put a lot of little items, and we've hung items from the beams up above, like the baby's breath and dried herbs. A lot of people get ideas from here to do in their own house with hanging dried things in their kitchen. We also have our candles in here, which are all hand dipped. And we carry a fairly good variety of colors. Some are a little more popular than others, but these are wonderful candles. A lot of people only use this type now because they're long burning and dripless. And we also are carrying something very southern, which a lot of people have caught on to, and it's the Tony's seasoning. And I honestly didn't think we'd sell very much. We have only 3 containers left of this. It's really caught on. I think Cajun cooking is catching on all over the country, so we're going to have to reorder more. But I love it myself. I use it on everything. Another little southern touch is the Aunt Jemima bank, another item which I really didn't think we'd sell, and we have. She's very popular. This is a reproduction of an old one, of course. And we also have a new coffee grinder, which I have one at home just like this, and it's great. I buy the whole beans and grind them up. And over in the east corner, we have our Christmas display, which we keep up all year round. A lot of tourists that come through like to buy Christmas items in the middle of the year. We have a Mom, quit it, she's making me laugh. Okay, you ought to get in here. We have this beautiful cherry table. Again, it's a Habersham piece, and it's a drop leaf. And we have 6 chairs that go with it, and they're very comfortable. They don't look like they would be, but they are. There, get her.
How are you, ma'am?
The next question is, how are you? I want to knock your block off.
Let's see, what was I going to say? Oh, and we also have this wonderful sideboard that should be in my apartment, but Mother insisted on selling it here, which it's a real lovely piece, and I'm surprised it hasn't sold yet, but who knows. And this is a new tea set. It's made in an Art Deco style, but it is new. It's just beautiful. I hope it doesn't sell so I can have it. And over to the left of the room, we have window rings, and we've built little windows, and we have one in the next room also, but we've built this so we can put display things in here, and these little window rings sell really well. They have beeswax candles in them. Up above, again, you can see in here on the beams we've hung baby's breath and dried flowers. In our living room area, we have our card displays. I'm sure you probably all recognize our greeting seeds here because you've probably already gotten one. And we also have some other nice cards that are blank. These are done by famous artists, taken from their paintings. We just got all these cat cards in, and they're very popular, yeah. And this is our Habersham furniture that has become antique while it's been in here. We've had it quite a while, but it serves a good purpose as display pieces. They don't look very comfortable, but actually they really are with the high back. The feature about this room is our fake fireplace here. We can do a lot on the inside. We put dried flowers there during the summer, and during Christmas we put like evergreen, holly, that type of thing in there. We can do a lot with the top of the display case too. Fireplace, excuse me. We have another little display case here,
For antiques.
which has mostly antique things inside and some of our reproductions on the top. Cards, stationery.
Show them this stuff up here because that's so messy.
It looks junky right now, but normally it looks better. We have some of our brass things hanging up. And again, we're having a sale on brass right now. And next to that, we have our Victorian reproductions, all of the paper things, which have sold quite well.
Thank goodness for those.
Next door is a pet store, and they have their birds right up against our wall. And you can hear the birds through the wall all the time. And a lot of customers get really puzzled about it, and they think we have it taped or we have birds in the rafters or something.
They'll say, did you know we heard birds?
But it's kind of neat because it reminds you of being in the tropics when it's blizzarding outside. Over here we have our Easter display. Walking over to Mom, she's just finished adding up what we've done today. Come on in. And we like to be back here together. We fight a lot, but we do not. And people always come in and they say,
do you two look alike?
They go, yeah. Are you related? Is she your mother?
No, they usually say to me, is she your mother? That's all we have to say.
You all need to remember that on video you look about 10 pounds heavier than you really are.
I was going to tell her 50 pounds heavier than you really are.
50 pounds heavier.
Well, you can just look at Mom and compare how she looks on the film from the
Never
table.
mind.
Anything on the counter here you want to show?
Honey, we've shown them everything. We
They're
can't
probably
make a
bored.
sale
Oh,
here.
let me show our clickers. Did you, oh, you sent them.
No, I'm going to do that and take it all.
Oh, I show you that, yeah, the little, right.
Hi.
The dancing bear.
They have the dancing bear.
Oh. How about our little parrot?
No, that's the fat lady.
Watch it.
Okay.
Now,
What's
let me.
What's the next event? Lunch.
Yeah.
Suzanne also worked at Penny's in the Bond.
Yeah, I don't think
Too much commuting from Stonnell Acres for her, so she moved into her own apartment in town.
We'll show you the rest of my apartment.
Okay.
The clean parts.
Now here's Suze again, and she's got some interesting masks on the wall.
Yeah, this is my collection. All my little guys here. And it's been fun collecting them for about the last, 5 years, would you say? And
Not that long.
Mom thinks my tastes are too eclectic. That I have too many different things in here, which I probably do.
Okay, how about the bird? Yep,
Yeah.
will he come out?
Well, here's Sparky's cage. And he's on his way out here or there. But he won't, I know he won't talk.
Put him up closer to you.
Here's Sparks. On the shoulder. There. Yeah, and I wish he was cage trained. It's kind of impossible to do.
He likes jewelry.
He loves jewelry, silver, anything shiny.
I'll show him.
Pan.
Yeah, pan in here, let him see some
We're
of the
watching
other.
the People's Court also. That's one of my
Oh,
favorite
that's
shows.
right.
I happened to be off today, so I didn't have to tape it. Except I am taping it now. But I have 2 days off, which will be nice.
Oh, that's
That new
good.
thing.
Look.
Being attacked.
Okay, well, I'm not doing such a wonderful job of this, but I'm going to stop it now and see how this looks.
Bye.
Come on in, Jack.
Thanks.
Jack just had, but you don't want to sit on this because it has ashes.
Well, I'll sit
Here.
on the floor.
No, here, there.
Sit on a magazine.
Yeah, that'll be better.
Hi, everybody. There you are. I'm looking at the monitor, too.
We
Well, here's
just
to you.
had supper, and Suzanne came up to have supper with us and to make this tape, but she thought she was making an audio tape and did not know that she was going to be photographed, and so she's been dressed for a long time. Oh, and here's
Yep,
David.
there's
David, why don't you look right at the camera so they can see that funny little thing under your nose.
Yeah, kind of little. Nothing little about that.
He's got a
Oh,
bushy mustachio.
You've trimmed it and groomed it, I see.
I try to do that every day, yes.
That's very nice.
It's not as full as I want it to, but then of course, you know,
I told David we gotta get him a big, thick cigar so he can do a Groucho. You're good at that. Do a Groucho.
no.
That's why I'm kidding. You don't have a
But-
cigar. Give me one.
Well, this will be a very informal kind of show and tell. I want to show you my daughter and my son and my husband.
Yeah, right, don't forget me.
And see if they want to tell you something. Because they have not been able to get down and see Mother and Daddy for a while, I thought it'd be kind of nice for you to at least be able to see them. Suze, what?
Now that you've seen us.
Bye.
Say bye.
Suze, anything new going on with you?
I've just been working a lot, that's it.
Well, that's interesting conversation.
We're feeling inspired tonight.
Yeah.
Well, you want to tell them what we just finished? Tell them a little bit about closing the store and what all happened?
Well, we got the store closed down and everything moved out in one day. Where do I?
There are people out there, Suzanne. Imagine them.
That little round black hole over there.
Yeah.
Now pretend this is
And,
Mr. Rogers' neighbor.
That's right.
Hi there, neighbor.
Can you say? Anyway, we moved everything out on Sunday, and we had a lot of extra help, so we got it out pretty fast. It was kind of sad to do it.
Not really.
It was a relief, a real relief. We sure had good response on Saturday. I'm just sorry that we couldn't have run it a week longer because, like I said, people were lined up, and I kept saying we never had people lined up in our store. But I thought I would be doing it almost by myself and with Jack, and then Suzanne came during her lunch break, and so all three of us were trying to deal with people. But almost everything is out of the store, and we're very, very glad. I guess Jack and I have maybe one more trip tomorrow to finish up, and then we'll be through.
David and I got into a humongous blizzard one morning. When was it, about 10 days ago or so, or a week or 10 days ago?
Monday, a week ago.
Yeah, he and I had to go in town early, leaving here about 7:15, and I had to take him to the barn, which is normally about a 20-minute drive. That morning, a huge blizzard came in right before we left the house, and I mean it was zero visibility, and we were driving right into it. The snow blowing straight towards us.
She just keeps staring at the monitor. Anyway.
Well, it's a wonderful show. Anyway, it was a terrible blizzard, and it took us, what would you say, about 45 minutes or 50 minutes to get.
It took me almost an hour to get to
Well, almost an hour. We had to stop many times to get out and scrape. I saw the windshield wipers weren't doing it at all. It was the worst blizzard I've driven through.
Yeah.
Right, we couldn't use the headlights because that would just white it out completely. So, David, we had a portable spotlight plugged into the cigarette lighter that I keep in the truck, and he just held that out the window and aimed it at the side or shoulder of the road.
Was there other traffic? Was there more traffic?
There was one. We passed one car. I think it was Linda Ray, wasn't it? Looked like.
Yeah, coming in.
Coming in.
Yeah, it took me a half hour from my house
in town. There was traffic.
It was terrible.
Well, my hair was curly at one time, and now it's real short. But it keeps it out of the patient's face when I'm doing ophthalmoscopy. It's a good excuse for being short.
What about your mustache, though? That's likely to get in a patient's face.
Well, I normally don't get my mouth up to somebody's face. It's usually just my eye. They get really close.
Well, your eyebrows are not skimpy either. They
I plan on shaving those off real soon.
Somebody's chin or something.
Yeah.
Shave.
Shave, yeah. Do that one of these days. In fact, I have a fingerprint on my glasses.
You didn't show the long hair on Suzanne's legs.
You want to zoom in on that? Look at that.
Such silliness.
Yeah.
how many times did we make this drive up to Stonnell Acres? In the winter, it was quite an adventure sometimes.
Here we are at Stonnell Acres. Today, March 23rd, and just looking around to see what it looks like here. So let's do that. Oh boy! Well, here's the front door, and it's pretty deep in snow right now. But we'll go up and see what we can do here. It wouldn't do to have guests, would it, come to our front door? But we'll see what it's like. Oh boy, we need to get out with a shovel here, don't we? Today is March 23rd, 1988, and we just had another snow last night after I had shoveled it a few days ago, but it's back again, so let's dig in, shall we? Phew. Yeah. Want to build a snowman? Thaw. You could make a good Dr. Zero out of this, couldn't you? Right? Well, that's not too bad. Sure, you could come up and see us, couldn't you? You darn tootin'. Well, just a little path here, and all the salesmen in town can come to our door. All right, here we are at the entrance to Stonnell Acres. Well, it's time to remove snow again from Stonnell Acres. This being April 8th, 1988. We've had the biggest snow of the year, as we usually do at this time of the year. And we have maybe a couple of feet here on the deck. Well, what do you think of this?
Well, don't look too much at me. Look at this snow here. I've had a hat on my head.
Hi. How's it doing?
Okay.
Oh, you killed it.
It died.
Porter joined the family Christmas 1988. He was a lively little Shih Tzu.
Porter.
He's looking down.
He quickly learned how to negotiate the stairs.
Come on, Porter. Come on, Porter. Come on. Come on. Come on. Yeah, come on. Come on.
And Porter loved to root around out in the snow.
Get it. Bury it. Go ahead. Bury it.
Woo-wee!
Oh, indeed.
Come on, Fort. Here. Okay, here you go. Whoop, go get it. All right. Woo-wee. All right. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on, let's walk. Well, let's don't jump, Dodo. Come on, let's walk. Okay, come on. Good boy. Yum, 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 yum. You want to do over? Oh, he wants to walk. Let's do over. Let's do over. Come on, over. Good boy. Yeah. Come on, boy. Come on. You're up on the mountaintop. What do you hear? What do you hear? What do you hear? Here's another piece. Here. Whee! Here's another piece.
He's confused.
What a treat you got. You got some ice cream, huh? Here's another piece. Here,
Not much flavor to it.
Let's do over. Come on out here. Come on, let's do over.
Run.
Woo, something new. Here, boy, come on. Go get it. Can you do over? Oh, right. You have to do over all the way, Dodo. You can't, no half part. Let's go in! Get it, Porter. Get it!
Get it, Porter.
Porter gave us many months of joy and companionship. One day, however, when he was 15 months old, he accidentally got into some mouse poison. And when we discovered what was wrong with him, it was too late. We missed Porter so much that within a few months we decided to look for his replacement.
Come on. Look at her.
We chose a cute little purebred Lhasa Apso, and we named her Portia. And she quickly won her way into our hearts.
Jumping up. Here, Portia. Portia, come here.
Portia. Portia. Come on, come on.
Here. Here's your teddy bear. Get it.
Are you happy here at Stonnell Acres? If you are, raise your right hand. Yeah, right. Portia loved to explore with us up Highlight Canyon and check out the smells.
Hey, little girl, what do you want, huh?
He thinks this is pretty neat. You think he's looking for a place to potty?
I don't know. Doing a lot of smelling. What do you smell, little girl, huh?
Well, Portia, you ready to go? Want to go? Let's go. She's ready to go, Jack.
Ready to go, Portia. Let's go.
Where are you, Portia? Where are you? Oh, there you are, you little doodle house. Hi, Portia. Hi. Hi, doggy. Hi, doggy. Get your bone. Good girl. Good doggy. Give me that bone. Give me that bone. Come on. Give me that bone. Give me that baby. Come on.
She's got it out of the side of her mouth like a cigar. Hey, baby. She's looking at herself on TV. Looks like she is.
No, she's looking.
Portia.
Where's your bone, Portia? Get your bone. Where is it?
Where did her bone go, Jack? There it is! Good girl! Good girl!
Give me that do-jigger. Come on, give it that. Give me that.
What are you, a mountain goat? Are you a mountain goat? Let's see that mountain goat.
When Portia was about 15 months old, she was pounced on by a neighbor's dog. It frightened her and changed her personality. She was no longer the loving and playful dog that we knew. She'd suddenly snap at us and others when she was played with, and it became so bad we couldn't keep her any longer. We tried to give her away, but no one wanted her. Reluctantly, we had to put her down.
Hi, Dave.
Stonnell Acres was beginning to show some signs of wear,
Looks like you have quite a project there.
and under Jackie's watchful camera eye, David and I tackled the job of rebuilding the deck stairs.
Why don't you look at me again just for a moment? And we can see your cute little domestic apron that you're wearing. How come David's working and you're not? The pictures of David are always like pictures of elk. He's always looking the other way.
I wonder if we should put at least one leg through stairway.
As a director, I'd have to tell you to use your right hand instead of your left. It's quite a little project here that these guys have done.
was just water. Sweat.
Right. Well, it was water.
I took out.
People who know you will be amazed by how your hair has turned curly and how your tummy's gotten soft.
Well, not long after that, the ground around our dry well shaft began slowly sinking. And with the help of a hired crew of film and TV students, we filled in the ground, gave it a touch of grooming, and created what I call the dry well patio.
Now, how soon's the railroad gonna be done, guys? Oh, we got a train coming through at 1:12.
Oh, well, it's gonna be late.
Jackie rewarded the crew with thirst-quenching popsicles.
Oh, he
Well,
got
but
Donald
later.
Duck.
I got Donald. Oh, you got it.
If you save enough of these, you can get a hat.
Oh, wow.
How is that?
There goes Goofy.
Another big bite there, Chuck.
Here it is, the beautiful dry well patio. Well, David wasn't quite a doctor yet, but at the Pacific University Clinic, he convinced us that he knew enough to give us eye exams.
What are you going to do now?
Okay. This instrument measures the curvature of your cornea. Oops, okay, now I want you to look right down at the middle.
Okay.
Keep concentrating on it.
I see my eye.
Okay.
No, what? Yes, my eye.
Okay, can you see the chart down there?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Let me turn this on.
It's blurry, David.
It's because I'm messing it up.
It's blurry.
It's supposed to be blurry?
No, it's not supposed to be blurry. Okay, what's the lowest letters you can read there?
TZVECL.
And with this eye?
TZVECL.
1, 2.
1.
Okay, tell me when you can read some letters on that line.
Okay. I can read FC. Jack, I'm failing some part of his test.
Uh-oh. Does that mean we gotta buy new glasses?
I don't
No.
Why don't we just get a different optometrist?
Now I'll take her acuities. No, actually, we're going to do bead skills first. Okay.
Acuities.
No, we're going to do acuities. Thank you for reminding me. I have to do acuities first.
See, those are down on the feet, right? Isn't that what you're wearing? Hey, that looks like a monocle, Suze. You look very distinguished.
I can't read any of them. E-H.
Well, you're supposed to open your right eye.
Okay.
Full line.
And let's try the other eye.
Oh, both eyes? Yeah.
Yeah, both eyes. Can you see next line down?
With both?
Yeah, both eyes.
PHTC.
Dr. D, Dr. D, I've got it. Who is down by the sea? If you need glasses, he's the one for your eyes to see.
Well, I came by from lunch. I showed you where I got my mail. And I picked up my mail and I went on up into my apartment and sat right down in the chair and opened Suzanne's beautiful Easter card. And the minute I opened it, somebody started playing "In Your Easter Bonnet" with just the sweetest music. And I couldn't figure out where in the world that was coming from. So I was holding the card in my hand, and I got up and went over to the TV to see if it was coming from the TV, but it wasn't. And I went into the bedroom to see if it was coming from the radio, and it wasn't. So I sat down and thought, well, I'll just enjoy it until it stops.
But Jesus, you said everywhere you went, it was still
Still going, and so pretty, so sweet and so pretty. And so I just sat down and enjoyed the music, and all of a sudden I saw a little gold thing on the fold of the card, And I peeked down in there, and then I knew the secret. It was one of those musical cards, but it was dark, and I appreciated that so much.
And it fooled you.
Yeah.
I love it, because she told me on the phone she was trying to find out where it was coming from. You know, she had the card with her in her hand, wherever she went, so the music was...
Kept following
No
you.
matter where she went, it was just as loud. It didn't get any louder.
But it was so sweet, such soft music in your Easter bonnet with all the frills.
Okay, okay.
Mama's singing it.
Yeah, you're missing.
Yeah.
What are we missing?
You're missing.
And when
Mama's
Ginger
singing.
came, oh,
Was that
I
what you were
can't
singing?
sing.
Wasn't it?
That's what Suzanne's card was.
Well, did you know that was Suzanne's performing that?
No, it wasn't vocal.
No,
It was
but
just
that
a-
was her playing that on her.
Oh, no,
card.
really? Uh-huh. Well, that makes it all the lovelier. But I'm holding on to that card because it was just precious.
He's teasing you.
Yeah,
I didn't
I
play
think he
that.
is.
Yeah.
I thought so.
Do you remember before I was born going shopping for me?
Let's see, where were we living then?
You'd be in Louisiana, Baton Rouge.
We were
Normandy Drive.
on Normandy Drive. Boy, I don't. Isn't that
That was a
awful?
long time ago.
I think so much has gone over the hill.
You bought her a lavender blanket, and she was the only baby in the country practically with a lavender. They didn't have lavender then. You remember that?
No, I don't. I wish I did.
You did.
But I'm going to be truthful. I guess so much has taken place in my life and the years gone by that I can't remember everything.
You have a birthday coming up.
Yeah,
How old are you going to be?
81.
Ooh,
Can you imagine it?
yeah. You sure don't look 81.
Oh, thank you.
don't.
That's very sweet. I really don't feel 81.
I do.
A lot of times, most of the time, I don't.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, tell us about Dad over there when he was little. Was he ever real naughty? You know, he was an angel.
As a baby, he cried so much that we had to put him on goat's milk, and that quieted him down. You remember that, Jack?
How can I remember that?
Yeah, you were
I've
too
heard about the
tiny.
goat's milk bit,
Did you hear that over here?
but I didn't know it was because I cried so much.
Yeah.
What?
Well, Bert made a good comment.
They put you on goat's milk, that's why you're such an old goat today.
Yeah.
Well, Jack, as a baby, you cried all the time, bless your heart. You never
Bless my
slept.
heart.
And the doctor said you just could not digest regular milk. And after trying, I don't know how many formulas, it didn't do a bit of good. And he said finally that we'd have to put you on goat's milk.
Well,
So Dad and I used to I used to hold you, and we'd drive all the way through Manhattan, downtown, near the wharf,
looking for
where
a
there
goat.
was a place, we'd get a crate of goat's milk. We didn't see the goat, but we got the canned milk, and that lasted for a long time, and I'm telling you, it worked like a charm.
You mean they really can goat's milk?
Yeah,
Hmm.
and you never cried after you really
couldn't get
got
the-
on
Well, he
that.
started crying.
You couldn't get the goat to deliver it to the door.
No, I wish we could have, or kept the goat in the yard.
Well, you know, I finally lost my taste for goat's milk, but I sure do love goat butter.
Yeah, do you? I've never tasted goat butter, have you?
We have it at home all the time.
No, I thought
Yeah.
he was kidding.
No, he is. Well, tell us about when he first discovered the movie camera. There's a wonderful
my.
story
Is
about when you went to the beach and
Yeah,
Grandpa had just bought a
Was that
movie camera.
when he used up all the film taking pictures out the back window?
Right.
Yeah.
Here, Dad was driving, and I was sitting up front. And Jack was so quiet in the back of the car, but we didn't think to turn around, and I thought maybe he was asleep. And when we got to our destination and got the camera and wanted to take some pictures, we didn't have any film left. And Dad questioned him and looked at the camera, and he had taken up all the pictures from the back window as we rode along.
That's some of the best traveling footage that you've got.
Yeah.
Well, he still has it.
Do you still have
Well,
it?
absolutely.
Yeah, So how did you punish him? Did you
No,
spank him?
I don't think we punished him.
No.
He probably got a scolding from his
Spoiled
dad.
rotten, I knew that. First time I laid eyes on you, I knew there was a spoiled rotten brat. How's that?
I can't be taped and be made fun of at the same time. It just doesn't work.
Great time to be
I think
take
it's
advantage of.
I think it's time to talk a little bit about you.
Yeah, the naughty things she did when she got older.
What did Ginger do when she was
Well,
born?
she used to cry a lot too, but we didn't have to put her on goat milk. We
What'd
just
you
had
give
to
her,
discipline
champagne?
her a little bit.
What'd you do to get me to stop crying?
We
Put
gave
you
paddling
in the room
with me.
where we slept and closed the door till you cried it out. That's what we did.
Now you're making me laugh and it's making me shake the can.
Oh, really?
All right.
Just
Where
seeing
you
it.
going? Where you going?
I'm gonna come over here and sit down.
Oh, well, I would hope so.
Of course, I won't be able to
Sit
stand
where
this.
I am.
No, I'm gonna
Because
sit
I'm
right
getting
here.
hot, I'll sit over here.
But I won't be able to stand this for very long because the
No,
fire.
it's too hot
It's getting
here.
pretty. See, I'll help shelter you.
I know,
from
but
the
you
fire.
get too hot.
Do you remember? What do you remember? Any trips over to Bozeman when the kids were young, when Suzanne and David were young? Do you remember any trips going over to Bozeman?
We made a lot of them, didn't we?
Yeah.
Do you remember the first trip when you guys drove up to Bozeman? I think I was on the train. I went up on the train with Suzanne, and David was just a baby. And Suzanne was just 2.5 or something like that. And I went on the train with Jackie to help her with the two little kids.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you and Dad drove up, remember, by yourselves. And I
Is that when
remember.
you lost your contacts that time, remember? Didn't you have contacts?
Yeah, I think that was. I
You dropped one in
washed
the
one
sink.
down the drain. That's right.
You dropped one in the sink just before we were to go to Yellowstone.
Yeah, that's right. Washed
And
it down the
I remember
drain.
Dad was furious with you.
Yeah, yeah. But
Well, you all have good
I remember.
memories.
I just have a flash of the day that they arrived. Mom and Dad arrived. They pulled up. We were expecting them that day, and we were kind of waiting around outside, excited. And they pulled up in front and got out of the car. You could tell they'd been driving for hours and hours on end. And Dad had a great big cowboy hat on. He'd bought a white or a tan cowboy hat.
I remember that.
Remember that? Yeah.
I
And he
don't
got out
remember.
and said something like "howdy" or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Now, you're a twin, right?
That's right.
And what was your twin's name?
We called her Kits. Her name was Catherine,
Uh-huh.
but she had the nickname Kits.
Did you twins get into any trouble?
No, I don't think so.
You weren't naughty.
Come on.
The only thing, this is a funny thing, we were taking music, piano lessons, and we were to play at a reception, which we did. We started out, and it was just beautiful. All of a sudden, we got out of tune. One of us got ahead of the other one, and we stopped playing and sat there and argued and argued. Just instead of going on and playing or getting up and leaving, we just sat there between and says, "Well, you caused that. You got ahead of me." And I said, "No, I didn't. It was you." We just argued back and forth until our teacher came up and quietly said, "Now start over again," which we did. We got through it that time.
I know a memory I just flashed in that I've heard you tell about. Didn't you used to deliver your mom's fresh bread
Oh yeah,
on roller
in
skates?
Baltimore.
Tell Suzanne.
Yeah.
Tell Suzanne about that.
Yeah, I've
Well,
never heard that.
Mother just made the most delicious homemade bread, and she always loved to make enough that she could share with people because anybody she gave it to just raved about it. It was so good. And Mother and Dad had a dear friend that lived in Baltimore, quite a distance away from our house. So Mother would fix up
This lady was very fond of Mother's bread, and every time Mother made it, she'd wrap it all up, get it ready for my twin and I, and we'd get our skates on, and we'd skate down the road to this lady's house and deliver the bread. And we just thought that was more fun, because we experienced a lot of funny things on the way.
You were an early cowhop.
Yeah.
Right. You didn't ever fall and crush the bread, did you?
No.
Oh, good.
Luckily, we didn't. We were good at skating then.
Here he comes.
Hi.
Yeah,
Can I come in and join you all?
Sure thing.
Make sure your mic is pointing.
Right.
In the right.
Technical. Yeah, that's good. Hi,
Yeah,
Mom.
hi, Jack.
Good to see you.
Oh, it's so good to see you.
Yeah, well, you're looking good. You can do silly.
Aren't we?
No, I was interested if you tell us a little bit about, your very, very early years. You were born in, was it Gaithersburg,
Yeah.
Maryland?
Mm-hmm.
And how long did you live there, before you moved?
Oh, I don't know. I was a baby. You can remember one experience when we moved away from there, and we had to get on a train. So we must have lived there about 3 or 4 years, because I remember standing at the station waiting for the train to come in, and I was frightened so bad I just couldn't holler. I couldn't do anything but just stand still at that huge train, the great big wheels coming in, because I was so little,
Yeah.
Oh, that was
first time you
frightening.
remember
First time I ever saw a train.
How did you get over your fright because
Well,
you're not afraid of trains?
Mother picked me up, or somebody picked me up and just put me up on the train.
Put you right on the cow catcher.
Yeah,
Put you right on the track.
that's right. But that was the most frightening thing. I can remember that.
Well, yeah, tell us about when you went to Randolph-Macon.
To college,
and
yeah.
college, and what you studied there, and
Oh, dear.
everything. And
It was that
Yeah.
bad, huh?
as
Yeah.
bad as Carrie Lynn. Not
Yeah.
quite sure what you were saying.
I graduated in 1928 because I'd forgotten the other day what year I graduated, but I got a card from them asking me to send money.
What, the other day?
Just last week.
You mean you still owed the money? Shame
No,
on you, Mom. You're supposed
Isn't
to
that awful?
pay your tuition bills.
Yes, sir. Well, I'm
It's probably
there.
an old sorority bill.
Yeah.
Right, I'm sure. Right.
Oh, no, they were raising money, the alumni,
Oh,
and they wanted everybody to donate.
oh.
But I got so many places to donate, I just threw it in the trash.
Well, you're going to hear about that.
Yeah, as a matter of fact.
In 1989, Suzanne moved to the Seattle area to join the sales staff at the Bond department store. Jackie, Dave, and I helped move her into her new apartment in Bremerton.
Don't hit me. What do you think?
Well, it's a nice place. Come in and look around.
Here's the nice modern kitchen, a little bit messy right now.
Yeah,
Not bad.
very efficient.
Get that entertainment center ready for
Yes,
lots
nice.
of enjoyable entertaining. You want to go get a less sturdy TV?
Yeah,
Kind? 12.25.
425.
Sue, see if you can make your bird talk. It all works, doesn't it? Okay, that must be a videotape.
Jack,
Yeah.
where's her bed?
Oh yeah, we have to start blowing that up. That's gonna take a lot of wind. Hey birdie, tweedle up. Come on. That's fine. Hi there. Well, here I am. It's Labor Day, 1989, September 4th, I believe, and I'm trying to catch up with Jackie here on the trail to Fairy Lake. We have Dave behind the camera, and let's go for it, huh? Oh, this is a great spot.
This is beautiful.
Isn't this terrific?
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, this is beautiful. I'm amazed there's not very many people up here today on Labor Day. Come on, Port. Little Porter.
Porter was still with us back then.
Porter is a bark in the misty dark. Roof, roof. I'm Porter. Up here. I said hi.
Oh, hi.
Well, we have to move on. The cameraman will come later.
Big frogs. Ouch. Oh, Jack, here comes a dog.
Oh.
Come on, Port.
Hey, Porter.
Come on, Porter. Just keep looking this way. Don't look that way. Come on. Here's your cookie. Oh, he's trying so hard. You get him, Jack?
Yeah.
Come on.
Come on, Porter.
Here's your cookie.
Come on, Porter. There, we'll just give you a little boost here.
There. Good boy. Here's your cookie. Here's that cookie. Anything for a cookie.
Oops.
Oh,
Don't want to step on that ladybug.
All right. That's a good boy. You want to get over here? Well, Dave, we've had a good visit.
Yeah.
You've been making videos.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Play on the computer.
Yeah. Anything else going on?
No.
And Suzanne and David go back to school tomorrow. Or he goes back to school and she goes back to work.
Yeah.
And she's upset because it's the last of her vacation for a year.
Well, hi there, everybody. Hi, Dave.
Hello.
How's it been?
Pretty good.
Well,
Getting
what's
tired.
been? Are you tired?
Yeah.
I didn't know he had. Come here. That dexterity. Look. Oh. Come here, Port. Come on. Come here. Oh, he's gonna swim. Oh, he's gonna be wet when we go home. Come here.
And so are you.
I'm gonna be wet and he's gonna be wet. Okay, now shake yourself off. Come on. Do it here. Come here. He's soft and wet. Look out, he's gonna come over and shake himself off on you.
Move.
See, look at that old man walking.
Well, can you remember the last time that you and I were up at Fairy Lake? Here? Sorry.
Yeah.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, you're trying to get me to talk.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Jack.
Blinking red light.
What do they cook
No,
best
what-
here, Mom?
Yeah, what do you like to eat best that they fix?
I think chicken and ham.
How do they fix the chicken?
They, what do they call it? They, looks like it's fried, but it isn't crusty. You know, it isn't fried in deep fat.
It's like oven fried meat?
Yeah, that's it.
That's good.
They have sliced ham, not cold.
Uh-huh.
They slice it hot.
We never have ham at home unless it's in a sandwich.
Is
I
it?
just, I don't care. Ham is okay. I don't care for it though. But he loves ham.
Oh, yeah. I had a ham sandwich today.
Do they fix turkey
Ginger
for you?
did too.
Yeah.
Huh?
Do they fix turkey for you?
Oh, they give it to us too much. You ought to see the last time they gave us turkey. It was about that thick.
We enjoy eat turkey a lot.
Well, I guess because they have to cook in such volume here for so many people, that they have a different way of cooking.
Who was the lady who just came in that you introduced us to?
She lives 2 apartments down the hall from me.
And she's a real sweet person. She's very good. She helps so many people.
Well, that's nice.
And she's spry. She can run up and down those steps
Oh, my.
where we ride the elevator.
Well, could I go with you when we go down so I can ride the elevator?
Yeah, you bet.
You had a long history of being tied up to one man.
Yeah, didn't I? That doesn't happen too much anymore,
No.
does it?
Well, we've been married 31 years now.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Oh.
I was a child when we got
April the
married.
5th?
April 5th, 1958.
Hi. Long time no see again.
Yeah.
What is this?
It's kind of a new.
Celebrity-
It's kind of a
celebrity
new
showcase?
program.
Yeah.
Right. It's the
He's just like
Stonnell
the
afternoon show.
Okay, I see.
It's not Hollywood Square.
We try to get
Okay.
our guests.
This is a roundup. We're
Right.
trying to
We-
get the scoop.
We try to get our guests by surprise when they walk into the studio.
You did a good job. If I'd known, I would have stopped in the hall. I had to put my makeup on.
Oh, sure.
fix my
Well,
hair and everything.
that would have helped.
If I'd known it, I'd have stopped in the hall and lost 50 pounds.
She doesn't like to be filmed.
She does.
Well,
Now
what happened?
me. on the other
Right, you right.
Mom,
A bug
she
just
brought-
flew out of your
Yeah,
hair.
Susie brought that fly in here.
I did. It's a little fly.
Oh,
Sorry about
well, I'm
that.
not
I
surprised.
tell you, it was, we had the door
It's
open. No, we got your mom talking a little bit about her 50th.
That's what he's doing right now.
Spoiled it.
Spoiled it, huh?
He sat here and just kept taking my picture.
Oh.
Yeah, here's the fly.
Well, that's too bad that he ruined it.
Yeah,
Except-
because I'm not worth looking at.
Oh, Laura is the face in the misty light. Footsteps that you hear down the hall. The laugh that floats on the summer night that you can never quite recall.
Let me see.
And you see Laura on the train that is passing through. Those eyes, how familiar they seem. She gave your very first kiss to you. That was Laura, but she's only a dream.
Yeah, Suzanne will. Have you forgotten how to put your mortarboard on?
No, I know my mortarboard. I'm trying to put my comic book in there.
Isn't that neat?
How about that?
Hey, Dave, get those glasses.
Oh, Tag, I didn't get you. Wait a minute.
Will the candidates for the degree Doctor of Optometry please stand? I'm pleased to present the candidate for the Doctor of Optometry degree, David Keith Stonnell.
I know.
We were afraid your mother would have embarrassed you.
I'm used to it by now.
It was kind of worth it, huh?
60 pounds.
You could have bought a nice car with that.
Look at that.
Expensive piece of paper. Now it's no more practice, it's for real.
Howdy, young man. What seems to be the problem?
My eye hurts.
Well, what's wrong with your eye? Why does it hurt?
Well, I slept with my contacts overnight, and I think I couldn't get it out this morning. I tried, it just wouldn't come out. And it really hurts.
I think I see the problem. Let's see if we can get that out. All right, let's get the right tools out here. Okay.
Doc, are you sure this is okay?
Yeah, here. I think it's coming.
Ah, Doc, you think you pulled too hard.
Okay, let me get a better.
I don't think you're using your medication. You need sedative.
Let's see if we can get that line in focus here. Oh, yeah, I see the problem. Let me try again. Oh, is it better now? Well, let's see. I don't see the contact on here anymore. Okay, well, should be better now.
Ah, I feel so much better. Whew. How'd you do it? You're the greatest, Doc.
Well, I'm a professional. I've been trained at Pacific University.
Well, back at Stonnell Acres, we enjoyed the kids only for brief visits now. Suzanne and Dave were both ready to return to their professional pursuits in the far northwest.
Morning.
Well, I'm ready to go. So,
How long will it take you to get there?
where? The airport?
No,
Is that-
to get home.
Oh, well, 5 hours counting the waiting, so.
So you fly from here to
Billings,
and then
Billings to Spokane,
Spokane.
Spokane to Seattle.
Jackie fixed her delicious meals for
We're
us.
having a little Tony Chasseray here.
Let's see what that looks like.
Yeah,
Not bad.
not bad.
So what's happening?
Not much.
Surveying the countryside?
Yeah.
All right.
Looking for animals down there.
Have you seen any today?
I've heard some,
Any deer today?
heard some noises.
You did, like that.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, now we knew that we'd be empty nesters, but we'd have fond memories of our years up Kelly Canyon.
That's about it.